team after the game. We had 4 objectives tonight. The first one was to, you know, make them one-dimensional offensively. We wanted to shut down their run, which we did a very good job of that. And I was very impressed with our defense. That probably was the biggest worry they had because they'd had 400 and some yards offense last week. Their backs are good. They do a good job with the option. Their quarterback can run well. Excuse me. So I thought our defense played very well that way. Number 2, we wanted to have great special teams, and I think we probably played our best and most productive special teams game. We got a turnover with Lazier. Bryce Ford is going to be a good returner for us. There's a freshman coming in there, and then Javante had some big plays in the special teams game as well. We wanted to be an opportunistic offense and utilize the short fields, and again, I thought we did, with the exception of one drive where we threw the interception. We pretty much. And we had one drive stop. We had a goal of every time we got the ball on their side of the 50 to score, and we didn't make that because we missed 2 of those. But overall, the execution was good for the first game, and really we felt like in the first half what had stopped us was ourselves. We had penalties on defense that allowed their first drive, and then we had a chop block and a holding penalty, and that stuff really stopped the other drive. But other than that, we really felt like we executed pretty well.
Had to be a little worried on the first play of the game when they rip off a 20-something yard run, and it's like, okay, what will happen?
Well, yes and no. I as I said all week, I was worried about with them having played a game and us not. They played at game tempo the whole time, and they knew what that was like. And the key was, would we be able to adjust to that? Because I knew they'd be throwing fastballs. Defensively, they were blitzing like crazy and timing their blitz as well. And so I was concerned about that. But to our guys' credit, we responded pretty well.
Defensive line guys, they were warriors in there.
They were, and on a very hot, humid night, we had a lot of cramping going on, but overall they held in there, and I think it's a tribute to our conditioning, and we're going to be beaten up a little bit because it was a pretty physical game, but overall I was really pleased with how our guys played.
Cole Mazza, another great performance. We had 1 yard short.
Well, I think you need to refigure that because we had a 104. Cole had a very good game, and he's a big, tough runner, and he can carry people with him. And I thought our offensive line did a great job of opening those holes. And I thought Ryan did a nice job of checking the plays and pulling the ball on his reads when he needed to pull it. And when there were the numbers matched up inside the box, he gave it and executed well. And I was pleased with how Blake came in and took us right down for a score and made a couple key reads. I thought we did a good job when we did slow our cadence down. They jumped off sides. We took advantage of that a couple times. And so, again, overall, pretty pleased for a first game.
Ryan, I thought, ran the offense pretty well.
Yeah, Ryan felt pretty comfortable. I felt like he was off his back foot a couple times on the throws on those play-action passes that kind of dropped. The ball kind of dropped on him. I thought he was more aiming the ball rather than throwing it. And the second half, if you saw, he threw it a lot better with a lot more speed and certainly with a lot more velocity on the ball, and it was just a matter of mechanics and getting him straightened out.
Javante and Darius with big plays in offense, and obviously Javante in special teams.
Yeah, Javante got moved to offense late last year, so he didn't really have a chance to shine, but we kind of had a feeling that he could be that type of player. We thought Darius McGriff had a great spring and really started to show the maturity that we need out of him. And both guys, especially with Keegan Moore going down early in the game and not having his big playability, just to remind people, he led the nation in yards per catch last year. Him going down early, I thought those guys stepped up and filled in, and we really didn't miss his production outside.
What happened to him?
His elbow's fine. He's got just a real bad elbow contusion. It's not dislocated or anything like that. He just strained his elbow, and so we felt like 10 more games is more important than trying to get him back in this one.
Shane White went down.
Yeah, he's got a knee injury. We'll have the MRI on Monday morning early, and we'll just have to wait to see.
He's the only other one that really.
Yeah, a lot of cramping. That's the only one that I know. Ryan Powers got a cut on his forehead but came back and played with it. And clearly we got to get him a different help because he can't keep that one on. But overall, I think we came out pretty well. And generally the nice thing about after a win, the bumps and bruises don't feel quite as bad.
Obviously still a lot of work on them. Penalties, a lot of them unnecessary.
Well, yeah, we'll look at the film and see that one of the defensive holding on Marlin I thought was not, but we'll see it. The back judge clearly had a more closer view than I did. I'm not saying a better view, but so we'll see that on film. The hit out of bounds, I think it was on Dave Lazier. We got to clean that stuff up, and we can't. But again, we bounced back from that. While they scored on it, I thought the second half we came back and we didn't make any stupid penalties, and so hopefully that's a sign of maturation.
Expect to see Amy Wadama alternating all year.
You know, it's interesting. Those two guys are great friends, and you know, Amick has a real strong leg, and James has a really accurate leg, and so you know, we have a luxury of doing them both. And same with Fogel and Lagama. You know, both of them punt very well, and so you know, you hate to. If both of them are very good, you hate to penalize one. They both deserve. They both work hard, and it's interesting because you know they get along so well. So you know, I'm not superstitious, but if it works, I keep doing it.
Chris Atkins not only started, but played pretty well.
Yeah, Chris, it's surprising because he hadn't really practiced that much this fall camp, and we really felt like his reps would be pretty limited. But he felt pretty good. The adrenaline got going, and yeah, he's great to have in our secondary.
You forecast that they would probably know where 7 was on the field and not give him many opportunities. He didn't get many tonight, but it didn't seem like he got frustrated.
Well, I think that's maturation on Donald's part, and he did have the pick, which you know, and so yeah. I mean, we're sitting here. He had a pick, probably had double-digit tackles, and we're sitting. That's a bad night, you know. I mean, the expectations for that young man are just ridiculous. But I know he'd be the first one to tell you that the win's so much more important than any individual accolades that he may get, and so I think you know, he'll be very pleased with his performance.
How long before you start thinking about Mercer?
Who's that? No, I mean, we've already, you know, been thinking about them to some extent. We try to break down the first 3 games before we even come into camp, and so it's a formidable opponent. They're very good, and they'll be at home, and they do a great job of getting the fans excited. And I know that we've been up on billboards all over the Atlanta and Macon area for this game to start at 6 o'clock up there. So, you know, hopefully we've matured to the point where we can be competitive with them. And you know, like our guys will tell you, one play at a time. And I think our guys are coming in with a lot of confidence. And I think last year the game got out of reach early because we made some key mistakes. And had we not made those key mistakes, I think there's a much different result on the field. And so I think our guys, frankly, are looking forward to the opportunity to redeem ourselves a little bit. Well, you can't win them all unless you win the first one, and certainly we take one game at a time, but this is a great way to start. And that was great for the home fans because last year, you know, we didn't do a great job of defending our home field. We were pretty good on the road, and so hopefully that's the start of what the program can become, where if people come in here, they know they're going to come into a place where they're not going to win.
Thanks, sir.